Hey everyone, we have another word from our sponsor from Liquid IV. So if you'll give me a minute, we'll start the show soon. It's cold and flu season, if you haven't noticed. A lot of my friends and family are getting sick, so it's really smart to stay hydrated with Liquid IV. Just rip the convenient packet, add water, and stay hydrated. My favorite flavor is watermelon because it tastes really good and it's not as sweet as the other sports drinks I've had. Liquid IV contains 5 essential vitamins: B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C. All that probably help with not getting sick, at least. Not to underestimate the 3 times the electrolytes of other leading sports drinks. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code NERDBS, all lowercase, and one word. At checkout, that's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code NERDBS at liquidiv.com. Now, thank you for listening, and we'll go to this show. Hello, this is Galaxy News. Nerd BS. I'm Alan here. It is. Damn, I really yelled. I hope that didn't blow anybody's eardrums out. Now I feel bad. Sorry for your ears. I'll whisper now. I'll go down.
A hand width away, Alan. A hand width away.
I wasn't even close, so I wasn't close to my mic. So hopefully it wasn't too loud. But anyways, I'm Alan. That's Kyle, and I think Tomas was giggling back there.
Yeah,
we're all here. It's the 23rd. We said we'd do another episode, and we nailed it on today, the 23rd of April, and we are talking about Fallout. This is a Fallout spoiler cast. We're going to talk about Fallout, the whole cast. We'll see how long it lasts, but I think it was a good show, so I think we'll probably be talking for a while. So before we begin, has anybody had the Fallout hype yet? Like hitting him hard? Anybody? Just me?
Yeah, I mean, I have unfortunately not had the time to get 76 from you, but I still would like to try it.
I've already informed you in the Discord that I do not have the disc. I sold it.
Oh!
Yeah, I know.
That's why I need to pay attention to Discord.
I said it in the chat. I said it's $8 on the store if you want to grab it. But
I had a really crazy week with the book coming out on Thursday, trying to get my second book ready, and my dog's sick, and so I'm sorry I missed that, but yeah, I have had the bug. I want to play it. I actually have thought about getting Vegas again because I freaking loved Vegas.
Yeah,
you should probably just get that one again, from what I hear.
Yeah,
but I have a confession.
Oh no,
I do not have the bug because I've never completed a Fallout game nor come anywhere close to completing a Fallout game, and I really enjoyed the show, and we'll talk more about that in a minute, but I don't have any desire to play any of the games.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching other people play them, but whenever I try to play the game, those kind of games stress me out. I don't know if it's the end of the world vibe, but playing games like that stresses me out. So I've never been able to get anywhere. I played them, but not in any kind of depth. So yeah. I don't have the bug. I don't.
So I never beat one until yesterday. Actually, I've played 3 and I've played 4 a lot, but I've like Skyrim and Oblivion. I always just kept wandering and wandering
Yeah.
and wandering. And by the time I got to the point where I was done with the game, I didn't want to go beat the game anymore. I didn't care. I just was done.
Yep.
This is kind of
I've been there.
where these have been. So
Which
I've
one
been
did you
playing.
beat?
So I beat 3. I finally beat 3. But
Okay.
I just beat the story, the first story before
Wow.
they have DLC past it. So I'm gonna go there.
Yeah.
How
But I
long
did.
did it-
I shot through the story. I
How
did-
long was that? Would you say?
It's probably a good. It couldn't have been more than like 15 hours, maybe 20.
Okay, yeah, that's
Okay, that's not bad.
perfect.
Because I think you could just rush through it. I did take my time a little bit, but I will say one of the things that I've always have a hard time with, especially with Skyrim and with Fallout, is always like nailing down what type of build I want to make. Because I always feel like if I make the wrong decision, it's
Yeah.
gonna screw me up in the entire
See,
game.
I can't do those games. When you start talking builds to me, I'm out. Just give me a character
Yeah.
and I'll figure it
You-
out on the way.
You don't.
know?
You probably don't need it, but in my head, it's where I'm thinking. Especially me, since I played on very easy. I won't lie. I just went on story. I don't care. I was just having a good time.
Good,
But
good.
what was-
That's good. I play
What
I do
was-
that all the time now. I
Yeah.
actually beat games now. Like I'm enjoying life for once.
It does help. Yeah, there's a couple games that I've been doing that with, and that it does make it more enjoyable.
It does.
But yeah. So what's really nice about playing on PC, because I'm playing on PC because those games are old and my laptop actually runs it really well, is
Nice.
command codes. So I'm able to just like, oh, never mind, I don't want that perk anymore. And I don't have it, and I got a different one now. And what do I want? What I want some stats for some reason. Yep, I got some stats. Or whatever I want to do. You know, I got the world is literally at my fingertips.
Yeah.
So I think
Nice.
that's been helping me out a lot. I mean, there was one situation where there was a gun that you could only get by doing the quest one certain way, and I didn't know that till after I beat the quest, and so I was really pissed off. But you know what? I'm God in this game, so I just summoned the gun for myself, and I was like, all right, cool. Now I can just use it.
Okay,
you don't
you
control
went-
me, game.
You went an extra step. That's
Yeah.
that's interesting.
You don't
Hey,
control
man,
me,
if you-
game.
As long as you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been actually having a blast doing it this way because I can just I don't have any restrictions, and I know, no offense to 3, I really want to get to the New Vegas because all I hear about from like everybody I talk to about Fallout is New Vegas is like peak story.
Yeah.
So
Great.
Yeah,
I'm-
see,
I'm
I
going
know
there.
that much. And
And the thing about New Vegas, though, that makes New Vegas great, is there is the wandering aspect to New Vegas, but the story is so compelling. New Vegas was the first Fallout game I finished. I did finish 4, but I never finish 3. So kudos, Alan.
yeah,
But I beat New Vegas because the
Thank
story in it, man, was just like, yes, I have to keep going. What's
I've-
going to happen?
Oblivion does. Oblivion does good. Not Oblivion. Obsidian does
Yeah.
great stories, and so I'm hoping that maybe Microsoft nudges Bethesda to give them another whack at Fallout, just so we
I
can
hope
get
they do.
something. Because right now we're sitting like really 2028 is when we'll
Yeah.
even think about it.
yeah,
So let's
that
let's
time-
get another studio in here. Let's get somebody
By
else
that
working on
time-
this.
By that time, the second season of Fallout 2, this
Yeah.
Oh, we'll
Fallout
be it won't be probably on season 3. I almost guarantee it.
yeah,
At
you're probably
least.
right. Which is surprising. Like, how do you not at least have something lined up, right?
How do you
With-
not jump on this opportunity?
Well,
Yeah.
they are doing the upgrade on 4, which I am planning on playing that with my son since the modern one we can play
Yeah.
on PS5, so we're gonna play that one together.
Okay.
One thing I like about 4 though is it's so much more colorful. I will say 3 is
It is.
really bland, boring. Like I could see what they're going for, but I just wish there was more colors.
was-
And I
but that
know
was
New
the
Vegas
era.
is the same way. Yeah.
that era of video games, like the
Yeah, it
PS3,
was
Xbox 3, it was like Gears of War, like all that stuff
Yeah.
was just, it was a brown era and it was very bland and boring. And I'm glad
Yeah.
we're out of it because, yeah, it's not anything wrong with it, but like when all the games were like that,
Yeah, I would
That's-
say there is something wrong with it, but that's just me. The puke
well-
green filter.
yeah, like you said, I get what they're going for, but like when every other game around it at the time was like that, then I was like, okay, can somebody put a color filter on, or
Mhm.
how does this?
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
get
3
ya.
has the puke green, and then New Vegas has the piss yellow.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
It's and then 4 has color. So I kind of
Yeah.
wish somebody would go back. But there are people making mods for 4 that are gonna encompass 1, 2. There's a mod for 1. There's a mod for 2. There's a mod for 3 being made in 4. There's a mod for New Vegas, and there's even a mod for Fallout 76, which is weird because that's also a modern game that's already out. I don't know why that one exists.
I think that's why we don't have one right now, because 76 it might be great by now, but yeah, it did. It's kind of the black sheep of it, and it's like it has a bad rap, right? Like, so I think that I was kind of holding it back.
I've heard a lot of good things about it now. Yeah, for sure.
That's what I said that, right? Like now, despite what it is now, it still has the taint, if you will, of its release, right? Like it's just still the black sheep of it. And so, anyways, the show.
Fortunately, we've got the show. Yes,
I was surprised.
Yeah,
bright and colorful.
Yeah,
I loved how it started. I was a little worried at the beginning because I was like, oh, this is going to be so predictable, because like when the people came in, I was like, well, they're all raiders. Look at all those scars and stuff. There's no way they're not. Like, but
yeah, man, I was like, how did they not pick up on that?
Right? Like I was like,
so guys. I tried to understand. So the way I got it, at least in my head, I was like, well, they just went through a famine. Like they were going through a lot of other problems right now, so they were dealing with things. That's true. But my wife did notice. She said, "Why are they all tan? Like these people have seen the sun. They're really tan. Like these, like the vault dwellers in this vault are not that tan. They're more pale.
Right.
They definitely haven't seen the sun as much."
How did
I didn't catch that? And then we found out they were obviously raiders. But yeah.
Lucy. How did Lucy's dad not notice? Right.
Right. He knew what it was like up there.
Like a couple of them knew, but maybe
and he knew Moldova. Anyways, but that's besides the point.
That is a good. How did that not?
How did he not recognize her when he talked?
Now I gotta watch it again. Thanks. No, guys, I gotta go see because I bet you there's there's something there.
You know what though? Later on, the ghoul does see a picture of her, and he says, I don't remember her looking like that." Remember, because even he saw her. So that's probably.
I assumed it's true, but I assumed that was because he was remembering from 200 years ago. Not.
Yeah.
But she doesn't look that different than what she did.
I agree. Her hair was down. Was the difference, but I think
suntanned, and
I think that's what they cover their bases with. It was like, oh, she looks totally different. Nobody recognizes her. Yeah. So,
but I did really love the first episode. I thought it was a great way to show where this was going with the mix of comedy and then and like, dude, when she was like talking to him, her cousin or whatever. She was like, "Yeah, it's fine if we fooled around when we were kids." But I was like, "Wait a second, are you?" I guess that makes sense, but wait.
Yeah, there was a couple cousin jokes, which were
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not a lot of options, I guess, in the vault.
Yeah, no, it kind of makes sense, but it's like, wait.
Yeah, I did love how naive the whole intro of it was, because especially for me, like I don't know the lore and a lot of the backstory of it. So for me, I was also naive. Like,
very fresh-eyed.
Yeah, and there was obviously something up when the Raiders came in and they got married. They married the two quote unquote vaults, and I was like, okay, something's clearly up. But I was also kind of naive to it. But like going back to Alan, like you said, you're gonna watch it again. Like, who's the other girl from Vault 31 that was in it? I forgot her name.
The blonde haired girl?
The pregnant one, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Like when she picks up the gun, the first time you watch it, you're like, oh, of course she went nuts because someone killed her husband. Yeah. But then when later on you realize she's also from Vault 31.
Yeah.
Which we're talking spoilers here. Is a big, it's a big spoiler at the end, meaning. Yeah. They're all in on this crazy mission.
Yeah.
To
Yeah, we gave
Anyways,
her a warning, so you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the warnings are there. So, anyways, then you realize, like, oh, she's probably been trained.
Yeah,
in
she
some
probably
capacity.
Very likely.
She was probably with the group that Hank used to assault Moldova's area.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, to be
I
honest.
didn't think about that either. Yeah.
Hank had to come up with these troops from.
Did he come with? Did he assault with an army?
Yeah,
I thought he just dropped a bomb.
No, because Moldova says that he came and took the kids away.
Yeah.
And I believe like she mentions like, no, I think she says like they came and he took the kids away, and then he drops a bomb. But I thought he physically raided them, took the kids, and then dropped the bomb.
The interpretation I got was that he just went out from the vault looking for his wife and family, found them, and then when he did, he took the kids away. I didn't get the idea that he had multiple people with him.
But he found them
But it would make more sense if he did, because it would be a lot harder for him to take the kids if he was just taking them from not only the wife, but obviously she had some sort of relationship with Moldova. And also a village of people or a city of people. He's just going to walk in there and vault with her. Like, they obviously, somebody there has got to know. Like, I'm sure she's going to just keep her mouth shut the whole time about her vault experience. So people had to know.
Yeah, and also you're talking about Shady Sands, which at the time was where the NCR was headquartered.
All right.
Yeah.
So we are just jumping.
Yeah, we jumped really far ahead there because we were talking specifically about something that happens at the end. But matters in the beginning.
It does. It is like it's stuff you learn at the end of the show that happened before. So for me, like I actually had to learn the history. I don't know if you guys, is any of that stuff in the game, like the incidents or
not the specific incidents, but there's definitely a lot of like. So I will say, Todd Howard has already said that you need to think of this show as its own game.
Yeah.
So it's part of the lore. So it's its own thing. So the story notes are going to be the same, unique is what I was getting at there.
I just figured it was someone's experience, like playing a game.
I felt like.
They definitely did a good job at that. Like for instance, when Maximus was so. I was going to just ask how do you guys like Maximus? But when he makes a decision, I could totally feel that was like an end-game decision right there, where he makes a decision to let Titus to die. You could see that it was like, oh man, like an option prompt just came up to where he ignored it.
Well, like, and at the very beginning, when Lucy's like talking to the council, she's essentially listing off what skills she has. She's good with mechanics. She's good with guns. She's good at.
They did that, which is really good.
She's trying to get down.
Good with blades.
She wanted some hanky panky.
Oh yeah, she did.
That wasn't with her cousin.
She was itching.
Yeah. To answer your question, Alan, Maximus, I loved his story arc.
Yeah, I did too.
I think at the end, and here's my biggest gripe with the show, and we can dive into this unless you had something else you wanted to say about that, Tomas, because I feel I'm going to kind of shift gears here.
It's all right. I was just going to say, with the end of the first episode, though, I will say I wasn't necessarily hooked yet because I was a little confused.
Oh, really?
With the ghoul thing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
With the ghoul? With Cooper?
Yeah, I wasn't sure, like, how he was fitting in. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah, I remember.
And so I was like, all right, but I was totally willing to watch the second episode. And yeah, after the second episode, I couldn't. I was like, well, I'm watching more.
Yeah.
Wait, was the first episode where they went to Philly? That's at the end of the first episode, or is that the end of the second episode? Because I kind of combined the first two episodes, so I get because the first episode it ends when she leaves the vault, right?
No, they dig up Cooper.
They pick up Cooper, and he like kills the 3 bounty hunters.
Oh yeah, that's right. So she leaves the vault, and then they dig up Cooper.
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of felt like a post-credit scene type thing.
Yeah,
just kind of hinting it for the next episode.
Kind of, I thought so too, but it was a long scene.
It was a long scene, yeah.
So, and thank God they didn't do any end credit stuff. I was so grateful for that.
No more of that. Yeah, we don't need any more of that.
we're done with that, right? Like, good. So Maximus, who was the Brotherhood of Steel, right? Brotherhood of Steel.
Yes, he was a squire.
Became a squire out of just sheer luck.
Oh yeah, that's
or
right,
so we
'cause
think.
He started as
Yeah, because
he wasn't chosen. He wasn't chosen to be the squire, but the other dude got hurt.
The lady, she put razor blades in her feet so she didn't have to go.
Yeah, she
or in her shoe.
She did it. Well,
that is a.
We found that out in the end that she did that.
Yeah, that was a harsh.
Oh yeah, a lot of body horror in the show. Anyways,
the Fear of the Wasteland will do shit to you.
I guess so.
And there was a lot of that. Like that was cool about all the characters. Of like, you don't know how they're going to react. Yeah. Because of the wasteland, it just kind of changes you. So Maximus, though, he goes through this crazy story arc where he, like you said, Alan, he watches his knight he's supposed to protect and guard die. He makes the conscious decision to watch him die in front of him and take his armor, which is like, yeah, I would totally do that in a video game.
I would totally have done the same.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got. Is like, okay, so you can help this person, or you can let him die and take the really cool armor.
And just take the armor.
Decision there.
After he tried to throw you to a bear and then he ran away.
He was being kind of. Yeah, he was being kind of an ass too the whole time. Even like when he was dying, he was just being a jerk.
Yeah. Like this is not how you get your life saved, dude.
Yeah. It was definitely over the top, right? Like just like cussing him out. After he saved him. And it was, by the way, it was Michael Rappaport, who is a legend.
Threw me off. Yeah.
It did when he fought, because they have the voice modulator when they're in the suit, and then it comes out that guy, and you're like,
and he even has like that hood on his head too, so you only see his scrunched up face. So it took me a second. I recognized the voice. I was like, wait a minute. So it took me a second. I was like, oh god, that's him.
There's a little cameo there. Very short lived. So he goes through the story arc of this, like, figuring out who he is, because he claims to be Knight Titus when his name's actually Maximus, and he's, he sheds the armor eventually, blah, 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 blah. Great story arc. I know it sounds like I don't like it, but it was great. My problem is, it was very good. My problem was him and Lucy got, like, the whole show kind of got goofy at the end. And I know there was a lot of goofy throughout the whole show, but there was a lot of serious tone to kickstart it, right? Like the first 3 or 4 episodes, there was a lot of seriousness, and his choice to let that guy die was very serious. And then towards the end, they just started doing goofy stuff. When his squire Thaddeus became a ghoul, like that whole scene just kind of it was almost a perfect show for me. And then when he got shot with the arrow, his squire, and then he's like, I think you're a ghoul. He's like, oh man. I was like, yeah, it's funny, but like, they literally had Fred Armisen in that scene. We didn't need more comic relief.
I'll agree with you on that, but I did like the fact that he became a ghoul. I thought it was kind of funny because they had kept showing that chicken effer.
The snake oil salesman.
From the second episode, and they finally brought it to me.
Paid off.
It was they finally paid it off.
Yeah, that part. That's what I'm saying. Like that, him turning into a ghoul, I felt like should have been more serious, but it was a big joke.
So
it was a big joke.
It happened. I see what you're saying. Okay.
It was a big joke when he finally realized what had happened, because we're all watching it and they're like, don't drink whatever he gives you. Please don't drink that. But he didn't have a choice because his foot was literally falling off.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Which is like, again, there's no way he could have moved as far as he did with that foot. The way it was.
Adrenaline will do a lot for you, but that was definitely anyways, I don't know, man. He did good, but anyways, yeah.
So
I didn't mind the comedy. I loved the humor of the show. I had no issues with it. Well, I feel like it balanced it really well. Balanced the humor and the seriousness.
I can see what Kyle's saying, because I had similar emotions with some big hit movies like Ragnarok. I felt like, there were really serious moments, and I felt like they made them too comedic. But
Right.
so I kind of understand what you're saying, Kyle.
Well, yeah.
Now that you say it, I'm kind of like, yeah, it may have been better to go that way. I would say overall, though, I
Yeah.
loved the mix of comedy and brutality, because it was just
Right.
brutal and sad enough to make you go, "Oh shit!" And then
Yeah,
it's just funny
especially-
enough to pick that back
Especially
up.
like that's like the 7th episode, like what you're talking about, that scene.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah,
the 8th episode is where like everything kind of goes down. It definitely ends on a much
Right.
much more down note.
I agree. And
Yeah.
but leading up to the episode, I feel like it would have been better if it had led up to that more, because you had 6 other episodes of goofiness, which I was totally fine with. That's what I'm saying. Like the first 4 or 5 episodes, maybe even the 6th one, you have the silly goofiness balancing it out, and then the last 2 I felt like needed to be. So again, we're all kind of saying the same thing. I felt like the balance was good overall. I think they went a little too far of the goofiness on the end, because you had Fred Armisen in that scene.
You already had.
Why throw another joke in there? When he had that cameo, and I was, whatever. But so I did enjoy the ghoul played by, and I want to get his name right because he was fantastic, Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
Walton
Walton Goggins was amazing. Yeah.
Oh man.
What is he in Righteous Gemstones? Uncle Baby, or he was in Righteous Gemstones as well on an HBO show. Yeah, the Righteous Gemstones show. I can't remember his name right now.
Just a little side fact I learned from our friend Alex, friend of the show. He has an Oscar. That guy.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Justified, right?
Yeah. Justified.
No, Justified's a show, so it couldn't get an Oscar.
Oh wait, not Justified.
Hold on.
I don't
It was
Anyways.
a short film apparently that I really don't know, but it deservedly so, right? The guy is great.
The guy is great.
I think a lot of the acting on the show was really good.
Oh,
The
and
Accountant.
I loved how when we get to the 3rd episode too, and we were talking about kind of like that dark humor and stuff. Number one, I loved the shootout in Junktown. I mean, not in Junktown, Philly. Like that was.
Oh, that was fantastic.
That was great watching the ghoul just blah 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 blah. Oh man, it was something else.
Yeah, he grinded to get that gun.
Yeah, right. And I loved the whole like putting that crappy prosthetic on him. Like I felt it was visceral. Like that's what I mean. Like I loved that balance of like, oh, that's got to be so painful, but at the same time it's so hilarious watching him try to walk with that. It's like having a trash can on your foot. It's just like, what is this?
What? I don't know. What part are you talking about? What prosthetic?
He's talking about the prosthetic foot that they put on the scientist.
The scientist, when he shoots the
because
scientist,
his leg gets
on
blown
the
off.
scientist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did love all that. Like, and when Lucy gets her finger cut off in a couple of episodes.
Oh, yeah, that was good. In the next one, in the ghouls, when he cuts, she cuts his finger, doesn't she?
He cuts his own in exchange. He said that was the like most honest.
Oh yeah, that's
exchange
the most
we've had yet.
exchange we've had. Yeah.
He cuts it off to kind of show her that he's kind of a man of his word, I guess.
But didn't she bite his finger off or something?
Yeah, she bites his finger off. She bites his finger off, and so then he cuts her finger off with a knife.
Yeah, because he's like, "Oh, you killer!" Yeah, he's like, "Oh, there's the killer." Yeah.
Yeah, and then they do a trade. He cuts her finger off.
And
he cuts hers off. That's right.
Yeah, and I loved the whole Gulper, which I believe was in the.
Oh, the Gulper! I don't know if was the Gulper in any games, because I don't recall that one, and I remember watching it and with the fingers.
Yeah,
I was like,
I don't think It's been a long time since I played a game, Alan, but I don't think that was in any.
Yeah, I think that's a unique creature for
Yeah.
the show, which is really cool.
That was cool.
Oh yeah, those fingers, man, that was just terrible.
I also
Oh.
loved Matt Berry playing
Okay,
Cogsworth.
I googled it.
Yeah,
Do you guys want to know?
yeah.
They appear in the Fallout 4 add-on and 76. So
I don't think
okay.
I played the
Fallout
add-on.
4 Far Harbor.
All right.
So some
Okay.
DLC and then Fallout 76. So
Okay.
not entirely unique to the show, but
Yeah.
And
apparently they are they're in the lore. So yeah,
That's
I mean
cool.
it
I'm
was
glad.
fun. That whole episode, that whole scene was just intense when he's like
Yeah.
borderline torturing her, and then she finds out he's not torturing her; he's just using her for
Well,
bait.
it was for both. Yeah. He was doing a little
Yeah.
of both. He was like,
Yeah.
I'm basically teaching a lesson, and also we're gonna get the head back.
Yeah.
Right.
And I like how it, she's talking to him about the golden rule and everything like that. And
Yeah,
he just is like, yeah, because it's true. Like that's one of the things that Fallout is so great for me is because like in my real life, I really do try to live by the golden rule. Like what I do, I don't want. I want people to treat me the way I treat them, right?
right.
But at the same time, if I was living in the wasteland where I didn't know where my next drink of water was coming from, like in the scene where they're crossing the bridge with the
Yeah, that was a good scene. Yeah,
that was a
Yeah.
great scene because
when Lucy and Maximus. Yeah,
to me it showed the mindset of the wasteland perfectly.
Yeah.
Like,
everyone's just lying, but
Right.
everyone knows you're lying.
he's
Well,
like, I
that's-
thought you said you were armed. We don't have a gun.
Yeah, I mean, when I play in Plane 3, I'm always like pure good, so I'm always like helping everybody. But
Yeah,
it makes sense for like Lucy to think that way, and then these people don't for sure because she comes from a place where they have luxury, they have all that, and so she's barely been in this stuff, so that makes sense.
yeah. Like she's
Like-
come from a place where community helped.
Yeah,
one
where it
another.
matters. Yeah, it matters, and also you never really wanted for
Right.
anything. She
Benefit
never
of
really
the doubt,
had an
right.
issue. Yeah,
Benefit
Yeah.
of the doubt for every circumstance, and
Exactly.
and it's the exact opposite
When you
in,
get to
in
the,
the
surface,
in the wasteland. Yeah. So yeah, and it was a good them teaming up. That was a good
Yeah,
dynamic they had of someone who had only been on the wasteland, and then
Yeah.
he gets to go to a vault later once they finally when they
Oh,
accidentally
I did
find a
love
vault.
that.
I
Oh,
did
God.
love that scene where he's in the vault, where he's just watching.
He's just
the
eating
waterfall.
popcorn, watching the waterfall. Is like,
Being entertained.
well, you got to think about it this way. He's never. I don't think he's ever seen a TV before, so this is like new to him. So this
It was
whole
He
thing.
also-
hasn't seen a waterfall.
There was also
yeah.
music
Oh,
playing.
yes.
It
Yeah,
wasn't-
there's music playing.
but dude, like, come on, it's like Dad's watching the Weather Channel. That's like, I was like, man, I could watch a waterfall with music and
Yeah.
popcorn. Yeah, I can do
Yeah,
that.
I could totally do it. Especially if my last 20 odd years had been scrape and toil. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
And the hot water. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
See, and that whole part too. So the part where they accidentally fall into Vault 4, I think it was,
Oh yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
and they basically just become test subjects, and that whole time was comedy, right?
Yeah, it
The
was.
whole
It
thing was
definitely
comedy
was.
because like and that was kind of a letdown to me because I thought it was going to be a little bit more sinister, and they were experimenting on people, but then the punishment was we're going to let you go.
No,
Right.
they weren't experimenting
The-
on
the
people. They were the
former vault
experiments. Yeah, they were the experiments they took over the vault.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Oh, you're right. So like
Yeah.
So I was also that was kind of a letdown because they set it up to where like, oh, this
Well,
is good.
see,
That they ended the episode previous. What is it, episode 5 or 6 or something?
yeah.
Where it said test subjects. You're like,
Test
oh,
subjects,
great.
Exactly.
And
I know.
and they were all horny and everything. But then he comes
Yeah.
charging in with the armor and like knocks the dude out. And she actually like, what was cool is she convinces him to let go of the armor
Yeah.
and do the
Yeah.
right thing.
And
That
do
was
the
really
right
cool.
thing. Yeah.
and that was cool. But like that whole thing was just goofy. Chris Parnell with the one eye was in it.
I love that so much.
But here was my thing, Kyle.
I was waiting for him to explain it too, because he kept having these pauses and stuff, and I thought he was gonna and this is why you're noticing he doesn't even acknowledge it.
No.
He never acknowledges it.
Well, that's all you look at while he's talking.
Yeah.
But I actually really liked that. I could see why maybe less goofy would have been better, but I was watching it the whole time going, all right, so what's the screwy vault gonna do? What's the messed up thing that's gonna happen here?
Yeah.
And I kind of liked at the end being proven wrong, being oh, this is genuinely a nice vault.
I agree. It just didn't have to be so goofy when he got the sword and they made it all dramatic, and then he just goes to cut the ropes and he can't even do it because it's a dull blade. Yeah,
I love it.
It was funny. Don't get me wrong. To me, it just pulled away from the seriousness of what was happening.
But you got that horror vibe too when that lady is giving birth to the Gulpers. I was like, oh my god, this is horrifying.
That exactly that I almost had to look away. That whole thing was disgusting.
Yeah,
and so it was too much of a contrast for me.
I could
towards
see,
the end. So that was another one.
I could see the massive contrast there. I feel, in my personal opinion, I feel like it was done because of the horror of it. They wanted to go it's horrifying. Let's
tone it down.
Yeah, but I could see also how if you're gonna be horrific, let's just finish it. You know what I mean? So
take the next step. Why back away? And I know the games are kind of goofy and silly.
Yeah, they really play with that balance, that goofy and serious balance. They really play with it.
But because they were gonna give them supplies too, right? You're banished.
He did give them supplies.
He smashed them.
He smashed them.
Oh, he does. That's right.
He ruins it, so it's but it was a big 2
weeks of supplies.
Yeah, it was a big learning lesson for him. That was just kind of, for me, it was just kind of washed away because of how goofy the whole thing was.
And I felt really bad too when he took the thing, because I was like, oh man, these guys are they're just living their life, and you guys are messing them. That's why I was really glad when she went back.
He's gonna kill the whole vault.
Yeah,
so he could have armor. Which again, you guys are just. My point is being proven.
Given where he came up, it's is that so odd for him? You know what I mean? But
right.
Me and Kyle,
it's a big moment. It's a big moment that was just very goofy and could have been done a little bit better, in my opinion. Because if you go back, if you think about all the flashbacks with Cooper, there's no goofiness in that.
They're usually done very seriously, and that is true.
Yeah, so it was just when Lucy and Maximus got together, it slowly just became more and more silly, and it's almost like whoever was making the show was we need more goofiness, or I don't know, because I don't know, maybe that's what they wanted, and maybe they wanted Cooper to be very serious as the ghoul, because almost every interaction he had was pretty serious.
Yeah, he definitely kept a tone, because he was going to sell for drugs and
the president. Remember the president? That part was pretty silly when he met the quote unquote president.
Oh yeah,
self-proclaimed president and
of the government.
Yeah, of the quote unquote government. Yeah, is there a government in the game?
I don't remember there being one.
I think
not a
so.
Government, but a government.
It's like a joke,
no. There's.
Though.
I thought there was a faction, but yeah. So it's like a faction.
Okay, maybe yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. So I did also really like, though. I think it was in episode 5 when they really start to also talk about everybody's just trying to save the world in their own crazy way. You know what I mean?
All the factions. Yeah. It's a bunch of factions fighting each other to try to see. They're all trying to save the world, but they want to save the world their way.
Yeah. And I thought it did really well leading up to the next episode where it started talking about the whole communism and working for Vault-Tec and things like that. Because in a very twisted way, I could see the rationale behind his wife. I can't remember her name right now.
Rose.
I could see her.
Or Cooper's wife, you mean?
Yeah, Cooper's wife.
I'm trying to. I'll let you finish before I say what else. Go ahead.
But anyways, I don't want to say relate because that makes me kind of sound like a monster. But I could understand the twisted rationale of the idea, like if we just don't have anyone else who's not against us, we can finally unite.
Right.
Like,
Barb is her name. Barbara.
Yeah, Barb. Thank you. So I really liked how the previous episode showed how all these different factions were just ripping apart the world. And then the next episode, it shows how Vault-Tec, who had this original idea to unify the world in a really twisted way, created the worst factionalism the world's ever seen.
Yeah. They thought that was the one way was to purify the world and then start over, and it turned out to be
it just made everything
just
worse.
as bad as any of the other ideas. I mean that's kind of
that's what you hold on, that's what you guys got from the Vault-Tec? Is that what I'm understanding?
They're bad people, Alan.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying, because you said they were trying to save the world. I thought they were just trying to control the world. That's
they weren't trying to save the world in their own. Yeah, Barb was.
I thought Barb was just part of it, because the way I got we need to understand more about Barb, and that's I was gonna bring that up later, because there's obviously a lot of gaps of what happened before they went off. So
that'll be in season 2
or whatever. But I don't know, because we thought she was a good person, and at first I kind of got that she was a good person. And when she mentions, like, if I'm not there, somebody else will just do it. And so basically, she's basically there. She was in the right place at the right time, and she's there to save her family, is what I got. But I don't know, when she did that speech, I started feeling like, I don't know, I kind of started feeling like she was the villain.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a twisted logic. It's a Thanos logic. It's the idea that I'll save the world by purging.
I didn't get the saving the world vibe at all. I just got like the bottom. Basically, what I understood was the corporations were all running to this Vault-Tec thing, and they basically decided to set off the bombs to basically put them in control of everything. Because if they're the last ones standing because of time, they can control all the market.
Right. And that's...
Yeah, but you have to remember the setting that world was in at the time. It was a resource war. There was no future for the world, according to Vault-Tec.
Right. And that's what Tomas was saying, that Barb had already come to the conclusion that it's going to happen one way or another. So I'm going forward to try to say, like you said...
Didn't Bob say, and like...
Can I finish?
Okay, go ahead and finish it.
So she said that she was going to go forward with it because she wanted to save her family. It wasn't necessarily like a villain arc, although when her husband hears it, spying on her, that he sees it that way, right? And it's a very evil way to look at it. Like, let's annihilate the world because it's going to happen one way or another, rather than try to fight these factions, right? So she's kind of just succumbed to the villainy of it.
So my counter to that is, didn't Bob say right then that the problem they're having is the wars were dying down and there was about to be peace brought?
No,
that was the problem. There was a really big possibility that the wars were going to end.
There was a possibility. There was a possibility of peace talks.
Yes,
but from my understanding of it, there was a possibility from peace talks, but there was that didn't solve the resource problem. Like, the resource problem was still lacking. Like, we still didn't have enough resources.
I guess where I can't get, I don't understand. And maybe I don't understand what you guys are saying because I just don't see that there's any good in that at all. Like I don't see that. No, I don't see how they would think they're doing anything good. It didn't seem like they were wanting to do anything good. It just seemed like they were like, okay, well, we've already done all this stuff. We've already built all these vaults and everything. And so now there's talk of peace. There's talk of people trying to work it out. So we need to push it over because we've already gone this far. Now we need to finish it before they decide not to do it.
Well, because Vault-Tec had to, otherwise they collapse. So it was more of a disparity effort. Right. I get what you're saying, Alan. Like,
but what I was saying was I also was taking into account the idea that there is finite resources. Resources have already been fought over. Is this piece really going to last? Like, I don't know. When you're staring down.
I just got that it was basically the idea was it was a nefarious corporation is the idea. So I was actually going to bring that up later, but yeah.
I was just going to say often evil doesn't view itself as evil. So usually they have an excuse or they have a way.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, Tomas. What their view was, they were actually doing good. Yeah. Even though it was blatantly evil.
Obviously wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
I did not get they were trying to do the good thing at all, because when they have that meeting and they start talking about all the then you get once we take over or we destroy the world and we do our own thing in the vaults, then each one was claiming what they were going to do testing wise in their vaults. Like they were all like basically saying, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that because there's no more rules and regulation because I can do it now. I was under the
interpretation that they were going to do it because they were going to create one of these vaults was going to succeed in creating the perfect society. And that
I'm going to watch it again and I'm going to pull that back and I'm going to bring it back because maybe not in the cast, but I don't think so. Yeah. Because I don't remember that at all.
It's all nefarious, right? It was all evil, but in their own eyes, at where they're coming from, and they were blinded by their greed or whatever. I would say greed is the most thing.
That's what I got, greed. Yeah.
And they were blinded by it. They truly believed that what they were doing would be good. Right. Yeah. So that.
Okay.
You think, Alan, that they were just all blatantly evil, and they.
Yes. Yes. I didn't see any good in it. I didn't see
even Barb.
Even Barb, like Barb at first, yes, she did play the role correctly. But then as soon as we got to the point where she was with her own people and in her own environment where they could talk freely, I did not get that vibe anymore. She was a different person.
Even though she claimed it was for her family?
Yeah, even though she claimed it. She claimed it for her family, and the way I understood that was she claimed it for her family because she says it early on, is that basically if she leaves, they will not get into a vault. And right now, because she's in there, they're going to get into the vault. And not only a vault, they will get into the best vault.
The best vault.
Is what she was saying. Yeah. So that's why she cares about her family. She does care about her family. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying she doesn't.
Right. But yeah, I think her motivations were out of protection and a good motivation, and it wasn't pure evil.
I'll give you that, the wishy-washiness of it, that yes, on one side she's part of the corporation, she does everything like that, but on the other side she does care about her family. So utilizing the corporation, even though it's benefiting her in both financially and for her family. That's basically there's nothing countering her to nothing negative about her doing it there.
Yeah. Well, when you watch it again, let us know.
I'm gonna have to watch it again because you guys watched it later than me. I'll give you that. So you guys are a little more fresh than I do.
It's been out 2 weeks.
I know, but I feel like I really loved this show. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Now I'm wondering if I missed something, but I
did love that whole story arc with about the time, right? Like the best necessity you have is time, and so what does Cooper do? He becomes an immortal ghoul.
Yeah.
That can walk the wasteland as long as he has drugs.
Yeah.
And
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I was gonna say, I don't think he meant to become a ghoul, did he? We don't know yet. I guess we don't know yet. But
they didn't tell us. But to me,
they didn't say this. Yeah.
Honestly, the way he was pointing is that he made the choice because he wouldn't choose that. Like if he became a ghoul, I feel like the character he was before the the bombs went off, he would have just killed himself. But
Yeah.
because of what he learned, he's like, well, if I become, maybe he didn't choose to become a ghoul, but since he did become a ghoul, he's going to utilize it to be like, well, I can use this to my advantage to find my family, and set my account straight, or whatever you want to call it. There's a lot to be said about it, right? And he's a big character, and they're going to do more. They better do more with him in the next season.
In the Fallout lore, you can make yourself a guild, obviously, and apparently, from what I just found recently in the new 76 stuff coming out, there were ghouls that were formed before the war as well. So
interesting.
it was they're basically testing how to do that, basically artificially, and see what would happen. But anyways, all I was getting at is I agree with you. Even if he did or didn't create himself as a ghoul, I feel like he would have created himself as a ghoul as he found it, like you said, because that seemed like something he would do for his motivation, because he knows that they're like cryogenically frozen or whatever.
Right. That's what I felt too. Like he probably purposely did it so that he could have that time, because he heard that guy talk about it, which I like. When that guy, I forgot his name,
became the brain case.
The brain, right?
The brain and the Roomba.
That was great. That comedy was perfect. That one was a good balance, because you're almost satisfied, like, oh, that guy he's a brain in a case, and he tries to stab Norm, and he says, "Don't move." Because I can only move one direction at a time.
Bob's Buds.
Like Bob's Buds.
So that was to me, that was like great comedy, because it was like really good punishment. But Cooper used that to his advantage, saying, "Well, I'll become a ghoul so that I could live forever."
Yeah,
and take bullet shots if I need to.
You've mentioned that, and now you got me all thinking, because 76 they got a new expansion coming out apparently. Yes, I watched a video about it. I don't play it, but this new expansion, I might start someday, but who knows. But there's a new expansion coming out where they're going to be digging into ghouls and creating ghouls and all that stuff. And 76 is supposed to be taking place before the first Fallout. Yeah. And this one takes place after Fallout 4, or at least after New Vegas. So I feel like they're going deep into the more ghoul stuff because of the show, and maybe we're going to get something from it, because they never explain like when he became a ghoul or how or anything.
Are you sure? Are you sure this is happening after New Vegas? Because
it's definitely after New Vegas. It's already been placed. What was that?
With how it ended, I thought he was going to see House.
So I don't know. Okay. I don't know how New Vegas ends, and so I'm gonna be as vague as possible. But because I've been trying to be very careful, which is very hard when you don't want to spoil a game you're gonna play. But what I've understood, because people are a little upset because this show is taking place after New Vegas, so something happens after New Vegas that Vegas explodes and is in rubble. So something happens. So there are people that are getting a little upset, because they're like, well, then what does that mean for the choices you made at the end of New Vegas? I don't know what it is. So
I thought it was just showing the outskirts of Vegas, not actually New Vegas. But now that you say that, it's like, oh wait.
But the stratosphere was there.
Yeah,
right.
It was there. Yeah,
it was.
There.
So
no, it was New Vegas. It's for sure. It was New Vegas.
My response to that is what you mentioned in the beginning, Alan. Is like, this is its own game. Like, yes. I know it's lore and all, but like, take it down a notch, fans. Take it down a notch. It's a really good show. Will it spoil a couple things, or not spoil, but will it mess up the timeline? Yeah, it's inevitable. I've learned at this point.
Yeah, you can't have a canon lasting so many years without breaking a couple eggs. It's gonna happen.
There you go.
Eventually, the canon's gonna
you lost it.
Itself.
There you go.
Yeah, it's gonna contradict itself. That's what's gonna happen. So
one last thing, because I think I've said I really love the show. It's a 9 out of 10 for me.
9 out of 10 for me.
I think that's where it's hitting most of the time, is 9 out of 10. I'd give it that too. I would also say that it's. I don't know if it would be a 10 out of 10. I don't feel like it's that far, but yes,
I don't
9 out of 10 for sure.
I've said my gripes about it. I think that final encounter with the ghoul and Eric Estrada and that the actor in the house with the family.
Yeah.
Like that was so intense, like so well done.
Yeah.
So kind of random, but like, and he ends up shooting the guy's son.
Yeah, when the guy thought his daughter,
yeah. So like, more of that, please. That was fantastic. Yeah. But what did you guys think of Matt Berry's cameo? The British guy that did the voice of the robot.
Oh, I loved it. I loved
every second of it. I loved that he was there. I loved that they even dug into the backstory of how they got the rights to his voice.
Yeah.
He got like $182, which was hilarious. And then I love that he said he got his own, and he said he hates that he comes home and he has to hear his own voice ask how well he did that day and all sorts of stuff.
I thought that was spot again.
It was just golden.
More comic relief, so well done. We didn't need the other characters to be goofing off, and so I didn't even connect his voice to the robot when we first messed up
until I saw him.
Yeah.
I did at first. I recognize his voice everywhere, man.
Yeah, that's good.
So distinct.
He has become. Like, if he's just on the screen, I'm like in a good mood. I'm laughing.
Yeah, he's great.
I'm having a good time. So, I remember because he asked the waitresses too, like, you go upstairs later, and they're like, no, thank you. No.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So, Tomas, you were going to give your final.
I was going to say I would give it 9 out of 10. The only thing that lacked for me was I wanted more of the irradiated monsters other than the rat roach, the bear, and
we did get the Night Stalker skull. I think it's the Night.
True,
the Death
Stalker. The Deathclaw.
Deathclaw. There it is. I don't know why I keep calling Stalker. Yeah. You got the skull, so that's going to be teasing for the next one.
Oh yeah,
next season.
And we saw the super mutant hand when it came out from under the gurney.
Yeah, so we'll probably see super mutants for sure.
Yeah, but I wanted a little more of that. It's probably because I've played 3 games and I've had 3 games worth of lore of monsters. So
yeah,
I would have loved that too. I would have loved that. Yeah, All right, Alan.
All right. Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. What's your? You wrap it up. Wrap it up for us.
Oh, okay. I love the show. I'm excited for the next season. I'm curious to see what happens with Brotherhood of Steel. I'm really excited to see Maximus's confliction.
Yeah, we barely talked about that. Yeah,
so I loved that character. All 3 of the main characters were fantastic. I even loved the brother. We didn't even talk about her brother very much, but his whole thing was amazing.
It was good though.
His whole side story was incredible.
There was a lot of really good characters. There really were.
Yeah. So, and I can't wait for the next season because they left so much open, but they also wrapped it up so neatly as well.
Yes.
It was a perfect, like all around.
Good ending. Very good ending.
Yeah. So, I can't wait for more. And now I'm in my Fallout hole right now, and so we'll see how long it lasts. I'm working on 3.
You're in the vault.
I'm in the vault. Yeah.
Quick recommendation. If you kind of enjoy the vault scenario and like that kind of vibe, check out Silo on Apple TV. I think it's on. Very, very serious show. Doesn't have any of the goofiness. If you want a show specifically about life in the vault, it's not Fallout related. It's not like connected to it, but it's all about like a community of people living underground after nuclear war. But like there's a mystery involved in it. So just I want to shout that one out. Silo, so good.
Silo. All right.
So worth the watch. I think it's on Apple. I think I said.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right. Excellent. Well, we
all
love the show.
We're also doing. We got a new logo.
Oh my goodness. We have messed up 3 weeks in a row, 2 weeks in a row at least. We got a new logo. I think he was about to say it, and I just cut him off. You know who made it for us. Why don't you do the shout out? But you've probably seen it on our icons on our Discord. It's been really fun. So it's a really cool logo, and you'll see it on the probably the front of the episode and everything. We're really excited about it. What else you got, Kyle? Sorry.
Yeah, I will say just thank you if you've like supported us. We were able to buy and pay for a new logo. Shout out to Manny's Arcade. You can find him on YouTube. Just type Manny's Arcade. He'll pop up. Very cool dude. I have hung out with him several times. Does a lot of cool YouTube videos about like arcade. He collects arcade machines and video games, and even came to our neck of the woods recently to Retrovolt and hung out there, and has a video on that. And but he made us a new logo, so we were able to get a new logo, and we're coming up in the world, right? So we also want to do a giveaway, just to you guys listening. So the to enter the giveaway, it'll probably be on YouTube and or Instagram. So just check the show notes wherever you're listening. We'll put it in the show notes of how to enter the giveaway. And it'll be for a couple. You'll win one of 2 Dragon Ball Z figures. So stay tuned, listen to the next show, and check those show notes for how to enter the giveaway. It'll be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. So shout out to Manny's Arcade one more time. And thank you guys.
Yep. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.